Step one. Helps to have tongs that fit your work. Of course, these ones I've built. Half face blow. Half on the anvil, half off the anvil. Try to keep everything in line.
Hello, Moto.
Better you can get that, the better your leaf will turn out. Then you don't have to mess with it. When I do that leaf, I like to go find a round spot in the handle. So that's step two. Do that again. Maybe I'll bring this up here so you can see it a little better. See just a bit. Okay. Sure, my shoulder's nice. So you got to have good hammer control. It's kind of a must. Because if you miss, you'll mess up your stem. Part of the reason I go right there is I can lay that stem down underneath that round and it gets out of the way of the hammer. You got to have a fairly good corner on your anvil, though. That's why you guys using old, worn-out anvils it doesn't work very good. You'll notice mostly I move the work under the hammer. I hit the hammer in the same spot mostly, and then I move the work under the hammer. And that helps with your control. So here's what I've got is just a short blunt chisel on a handle. It's fairly blunt. You don't want it sharp for this next process, and I'll show you why. So we're going to come over here to the treadle hammer. That. Out of here. I generally start at the front, and I'm going to lightly a lot of times I'll do other work underneath this hammer to make sure that everything's heated up. Because if you do this light work like this, and your work is cold, especially when it's thin like that, you'll shear through your work. So what is that, step 4? Either step 3 or step 4. Now you don't have to use a power hammer. You could find a way to hold this onto the handle and, use a hold down tool. And of course you could use if you wanted to get real fancy, you could use a specialty chisel for this. A curved chisel. You can go into as much detail as you want. If you guys like this, I'd appreciate it if you share it. Okay, one more for good feeling because I got one more made up. So that ain't perfect, but we're doing blacksmithing. This is the Bob Ross School of Blacksmithing. No mistakes, just happy accidents. So once we get those heated up, again, got this block of wood right here. And I go through them, so I never use the same one. Now I have a fairly appropriate size ball peen hammer. I think this is a 12 ounce or something. Yeah, 12 ounce. I'm going to lay that in here. Hardwood works better. And that's what gives you that real kind of look. Generally, I would do this step and the next step all in the same, because now I've got the leaf cooled down and the stem of it hot, but we're going to break it down into two parts here. Like that. Courtesy quench that off. If you use a jig, you can get them all pretty close to the same, but I don't. Sometimes I do, but mostly I do them freehand because I like it that they're a little different. I want to quench off that leaf so I don't change the shape of it. And this is where having a long-throated set of tongs works better. And that heat does roll through those. So this is where we're going to put in the cut for the nail, screw or the nail. Again, you can do this by holding a set of tongs between your legs, holding your hammer with one hand. And your tool in the other. Shimmer from the heat. So we're just about done there. Next step is why these are so long and weird looking. To be able to get a hold of these really deep in this throat. Of course, the hook will want to bend in the thinnest part, which would be right in that cup. And then this is where I straighten. So I want that to be straight up and down like that. So I'm going to hold that with that set of tongs. Test it. Yeah. Fairly straight. That's how we do it. Me and my personalities, I mean. Because it's just me doing them. There ain't nobody else in here doing them. Just me talking to myself, talking to my stupid camera that nobody's watching. Feel like Bob Ross sometimes. So this one's really crooked. So see how it wants to lay off to the side? So I'm going to hold that straight. I'm going to use the round face of my rounded hammer. And if I have to, I'll come back over here to the power hammer. Or the treadle hammer, I mean. Now making hooks out of 8-inch full bar spikes, I don't think is a new idea, but as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody else doing these in a long time. Nothing quite like this. This is my own design. When you're brushing this, if you turn that in and get that against your edge of your animal, makes that a lot easier to hold. Something like that. I don't know how many thousands of them I've done. All right. Thus endeth the lesson. If you like the content, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and maybe go back and like some of my other videos. Get a hot and hit those wear safety squints. Thanks, everybody.